So when you came to become a coach, like what was the impetus as to how it happened? Like obviously your coach, it's not like you went, it's not like you became a coach of a small team and then built that. Like you basically got to just jump right into mouse sports where Nico was, and they had that lineup where it was the Nico Sports era. If people remember, it was like Nico, Dennis, Spiddy, Chris J, those guys. How did he get this coaching gig? I know coaching was still a fairly new thing. There wasn't that many at the time. So was it just Nico, the connection, that got you in?
Oh yeah, but my coaching job started like really early in 2013. I think I was actually one of the first coaches in CSGO.
You technically coached basically the team that you used to play for when like
Yeah,
you stopped playing for
yeah,
them just for a couple of tournaments or
yeah,
something, right?
yeah. It was like 2013 we played, and then I figured out that I can't do this anymore. I mean, I can't play anymore. I can't help anymore. I'm just
Right.
frag potential is not there. It's just not there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was just, but I know about the game than anyone else. So why shouldn't I be a coach? I mean, why not? And then I started, and then we went to that Star Ladder finals. It was such a weird thing, dude. There was no headsets, there was no microphones, there was nothing. I was just, behind them yelling, calling. There was no
Right.
restrictions, there was nothing. It was just wild. And
Sure.
I just like come behind because Emmy was the IGL back then. Kinger was in the team, Nano, and then I can't even remember who else. Nico, obviously, and then
Yanko
Le-
still?
no, Janko came in after.
Ah, okay.
Letty was there, and then I was just like, I come behind like Emmy and just move his headsets, like call a strat or something, and just put his
Okay.
headsets back, and he just play that, and it was like a mess. No restrictions. Starlighter allowed it, obviously, and it was
Of
like
course.
I mean, Starlighter, but it
Exactly.
was it was like it was pretty fun, the coaching gig, and after that I kind of found myself there wanting to do that more,
Okay.
and it was really fun until the point when it's like the team fell apart, and all of a sudden that was a Cologne Major 2014, right? That NIP won.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot actually.
Ah,
We talked
yeah,
about this in the other interview. You
yeah,
did you coached that Indian team? Well, the story of
yeah.
that one's in the other one, mate.
Oh,
People can
yeah,
go check that one out there. That's an interesting story, though. I will say because it's fucking wild. Like you just get brought into India,
dude,
like.
dude. They're like, okay, can you? I was like, it was Thursday night, and the guy's like, hey, can you come Tuesday morning? I was like, what? I never flew anywhere except from that Starliner. I didn't know anybody.
Okay.
Anywhere,
Sure.
literally anywhere. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll go. It's a crazy story back then. But in mouse sports, yeah, just Nico contacted me. He's like, hey, we were thinking about like adding you as a coach. What do you think? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? It was like a decent opportunity. Obviously, mouse sports is a big org. It was like they were like one of the biggest back then, right?
Sure.
And I like their owner. Cengiz is a really like
He's a cool guy. Yeah.
he's a
He's
really
real
cool
OG
guy.
as well.
Yeah, he's a pure like straight up businessman. He sees the opportunities. He knows how to build things. He knows how to make money, and he's like very very kind of straightforward real guy. He's gonna tell you what he thinks. He's not gonna go play a games around with you and nothing like that. He's just gonna tell you how things are and what he thinks, and that's it. Even bad good doesn't really matter. So I respected him. I think he respected me the same way because I'm the same as he is. And in mouse sports, I was there like for like 4 months maybe. It was
Yeah.
such a weird time, dude. And because the team was like I don't know, the whole vibe there was such so unnatural kind of. It wasn't really, it didn't feel like a team, especially because back then they signed Oscar in advance, right?
Yes.
From
Yeah.
Hellraisers or not
Yeah.
Hellraiser,
Yeah. I think it was
yeah, was it?
Hellraisers.
Or Flipside, one of those two. And basically it was like nobody knew who was going to be kicked, and all the drama with Nico needed to be in another team, needed to be in a
Yes.
better team, all the pressure. It was like he was young too, I was new at the thing, and the whole mouse sports lineup, and everybody was like wondering what's gonna happen. I don't think we did bad in
No.
those
No.
4 months, not at all. I think we qualified for the major. We were the first team qualified for the major in that in Katowice, in that studio that we played. I think we beat Cloud9 back then, and then some Russian fluffy gangsters with that Oper they had that was promising the little guy. I mean, he was kind of old, but his nickname was Little. And then
Sure.
the third game was against. Ah, yeah, it was against G2. Yeah, it was against G2 with was it Shocks who was
Shocks
playing?
and Scream and like
Yeah, Shocks.
probably a pretty
Yeah,
banging
yeah,
lineup for
yeah,
that. RPK,
like,
yeah.
I think we just destroyed them on Dust 2. It was like one of the maps where Nico was like, it's like he had X-ray, dude. He knew everything that was going on every round. He read them completely every round. I think we beat them on CT side 14-1 or something like that. And we
Yeah.
just qualified for the major, which is a big thing, 3-0. We qualified, and then the major came. It was a lot of pressure because it's a Cologne, it's Germany, it's now
Sure.
sports. 3 German players. Everybody wants to see them in the arena, and we didn't manage to do it, sadly, because of few things. We had a first game opening against Virtus Pro, I think, and we were up 7-1 on train, and then something fell apart completely, and then we lost that game, and then we beat Envy with Apex and Happy, and
Yeah, the former major champions.
yeah,
Yeah.
who I don't remember who was there. Maybe Smiths. I don't remember.
No, it was still. It was like fucking
Kenny.
Yeah, it was Kenny. It was the Kenny and Apex and
Yeah, and Happy and who? Yeah,
MBK.
it was Devil.
Kiyashima.
It was Devil. Devil was there.
Oh, Devil was there already. Yes,
Devil was
sure.
there. He was like
Instead of
that
Kiyashima.
was
Yeah.
his first big tournament. And we beat them, and then we ended up playing against Liquid on Cobblestone. I remember the format of the tournament was pretty ridiculous. You win 2 best of ones, and you become a legend, right?
Yes.
It was just a terrible thing. But as an underdog, it's not the worst thing that can happen to you, right? But I was always, even as an underdog, I always liked the best of 3 rather than a best of 1, But that tournament didn't go as we planned. Obviously, we didn't get to the arena, which was very disappointing. I remember sitting in the VIP lounge thing in the balcony,
Okay.
just
watching.
Like
that should have been me.
Yeah, just watching the crowd going crazy, Simple and Liquid playing, and everybody's there, and I was like, yo, man, surely this should have been us, And it was very disappointing. And after that, it was like talks. Who is gonna stay after the major? Who is gonna be kicked? And it wasn't really the easiest time back then. And then we flew to Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta.
Yeah. And this was the big result, right? Because you got people forget this. Everyone thinks because the story in EcoSports, like he needed a better team. It's like he did because he was just a wicked player. But first of all, that was improving himself to all the other teams. Hence why he's had an amazing career since. But this was actually the tournament where it sort of came together. I mean, you beat Astralis in the round of 8, which was still a good team. That was one of the. That was when they had Carrigan. They were still a strong team,
They were a crazy team. We beat FaZe there. We beat Astralis, and I think we beat G2 as well.
Yep.
Or whoever Body was playing for.
Yeah, it was G2.
I know. Yeah, I think they had a stand-in that guy called Fox.
RPK, I think, couldn't play because he was like ill or something.
Something like that. And then we had a good run. But I think at that point, I mean, everybody played good, especially Nico at that point, and against FaZe, that famous Ace and Cash.
Yes.
And, and I think at that point, everybody was like, whatever, we're just gonna play the tournament. And then you know how it goes when you have nothing to lose anymore.
Of course, yeah.
It's like
sometimes goes better than ever.
You just go out and you just destroyed everyone. And we played the semifinals against VP, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And listen, that was really good VP back then. That was no joke Virtus Pro.
Yeah, they were really good, and I think they just 2-0'd us, which was like, I guess it was fine. We were a bit disappointed because we made it so far, and we were like, we wanted to win the whole thing. I remember Navi was in shambles back then. Yep. Fnatic wasn't really looking that good because that was the second semifinal.
Yeah.
They didn't really look good at all at the time, especially Navi. And then we had VP who won that tournament at the end. And all in all, I guess it was a good tournament, But the atmosphere wasn't the greatest at the time because we knew the changes were coming, and everything was like, you don't know how to accept it, you don't know how to deal with it because everything is so new, the whole like big tournaments, and it's like big prize money. It's not like a local, regional things, but you get like players are getting removed left and right, and you just play these small tournaments. It's like easy to handle, right? All of a sudden, it's a big org, big tournament. It's like pressure is there, and there is nobody that can, help you to handle that. And it wasn't really the greatest atmosphere, the greatest vibe. Then we played good, which was like, I guess, fair enough. And after that, when we actually stayed in Atlanta for a month, man, in that W hotel. Such a great hotel, man.
Oh, so nice, yeah.
Man, I remember I was sitting like because there was like a game and there's like a week off, something like that at the time.
Yeah,
I know we get like 5-6 days. I remember sitting with Samler every night, him drinking gin and tonic, me drinking Moscow Mule, talking about life every night, till like 3 a.m. So the hotel there was like pretty good. I mean, the whole month was decent. We played a good tournament. It was a good experience.
Sure.
And after that, when we came back, there was talks about like again removing it. That was Gfinity tournament after that coming up,
Yep.
and then Oscar came in, and shortly after I was
You
out.
told a story on the other interview, and you said that basically you implied it wasn't really like your choice. Like Mouse Sports, you didn't say who, but you said in the other one that Mouse Sports was
Yeah.
sort of like hinting that they were going to get like a bigger
Yeah.
named coach, which is obviously a bit ominous the way you said that. Like,
Yeah, at the
like,
point.
isn't that kind of bullshit? Like, listen, I get the idea if the other guy had a bigger name. Yeah, that's an obvious thing that like owners do. They want the guy who's more famous. Oh, he'll get it done. He's done other things. But like, don't you look back now and just sort of think, look at me now, Mouse Sports. Like, I'm one of the fucking best. You should have just kept me.
No, not really. I mean, at the point I was like pretty new at the whole gig. I was also trying to understand how to manage and how to like approach players right now.
Right.
It's way different than it was before, 5 years ago. I learned throughout this time in Renegades, well, mostly Renegades, I guess, 100 Thieves as well, how to like deal with players on a different level. That different players require different type of attention, right? Different type of conversation. They learn in different ways. Somebody
I'm
like
sure the nationality part was different, right? I mean, if you're coming from Serbia, people know if they've ever seen how Janko talks. Nico's obviously a fiery individual. You guys are more like blunt. It's like, if there's a problem, we're going to talk about it this way.
Exactly.
I'm sure those German guys and some of those people weren't enjoying that. I'm sure they wanted it a different. Like, I'm sure all these different nationalities are different to work with, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, that's something again that I needed to learn throughout the years. The cultures, the mentality, the how players see, like they have like I said, they have a concept of a coach. Have they ever been in sports before? How to deal with that? Because not every player reacts the same way on a when you talk to him in the same manner. And somebody needs to be like sit down and talk quietly. Somebody needs to like have a picture drawn to him to actually understand what he needs to do, like a literal picture. And somebody needs to be like a little bit somebody like a tough love kind of thing. But it just based on the player. Back then I didn't know that. I was in a phase of learning, and I don't blame Mouse Sports for wanting to replace me. When they look at the results, okay, semifinals, E-League, but nobody was happy about the major, and that was really important for Mouse Sports, especially because it was in Germany, and I was okay with it. I wasn't like salty. And I understood they wanted a bigger name, more popular name, the name with more success at the time, and they were pretty like open with it, and I accepted it. It was fine. I mean, I learned when I was there, and I moved on, and it's simple as that.